This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Oh, saved by I'm cutting him off. Saved by the intro. Guys, it's going to be one of those shows again today, but welcome to your favorite video game news show. I'm glad you guys are here. We really appreciate it because you get the truth. You don't get the fluff. You don't get the muss. You get the God's honest truth, whether we like it, love it, or hate it, just like this guy. Some weeks we like him, some weeks we love him, other weeks we hate him.
It's very true. Very true.
It depends who you are, though. If you come in here as Neeglin, well, we gotta hate you. You know, it's just.
Well, you better like him. He'll hit you with the bat.
Well, it's so. What are you exactly doing here? What are you showing us here?
I'm playing the new remake of the Wizard of War, which is my big background outside. I'm playing the Wizard of Walls, or Wall, I should say, on the iArcade, and I'm having a blast playing this game. Actually, my son, believe it or not, my son actually was enjoying this game with me yesterday.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna have to get into that a little deeper. I think he just died.
I lived.
Oh, okay. We're not used to you living. We're gonna get into that a little bit later on. We got Wild Bill with us in the house.
Hello.
Mr. 1,000.
Thank you.
1,000 subs.
1,000-year-old man, Mel Brooks.
He's a big boy now.
He is a big boy now.
Yep.
And
big boys.
I think this week you're doing a giveaway?
Coming up. Yep.
All right. Also, we've got the woman of the hour, the queen of video games.
Hi.
Jade Shillington. I mean, Sheline.
Jade, that's Jade Shillington.
Jade Shillington.
Hi. I'm Jade Shillington. You might remember me from such films as What's All This Shilling About? Or I shilled for arcades. But today, I'm going to Shildicade.
The Shildicade. Hey,
She's
Glenn.
joined the ranks.
Glenn, you finally got a sequel to your first one, right?
I do.
Well, let's say there's a bunch of guys in the chat room. Let's say howdy to some of these guys. We have a long-time listener, first-time caller. I think that's what he said. Ronald Lemonin. I think that's what he say. Mitchell R says, love that game. I guess he's referring to you. He goes, Carl goes, whether you like it or not, it's the best thing going today. Woo, Mr. Ric Flair. Hello, one and all. To the Tinkerer. Man, I got to get these fonts.
Too.
I got to get the fonts bigger.
Basically, what Steven is trying to say right now
Here,
is
you
hello to everybody
say
in
hello
the
to
chat.
everybody. Then go through it. I'll pull them up. You say hi.
Hi, everybody in the chat.
I'll just keep pulling them up here. I'm sorry, I'm butchering everybody's name, so I don't want to do that. So, and they're all laughing at me. That's okay. That's okay. I'm all right with that.
Wait, Steven, you keep talking and I'll just like lip sync what you're saying.
But then it'll look a lot like a lot of the iArcade games.
Wow.
Everything out of sync. Oh,
wow.
Sorry, too early for that. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Console fanboys in the house. I know he'd get a kick out of that. But no. No, we actually have iArcade news. We're going to talk about that later.
Wait, is Wizard of Walls on the Switch though?
Why would you want it on the Switch? You can get it in the iArcade. It makes no sense.
Well, I don't have an iArcade. I have a Switch though.
Best time to go buy one.
No, she already got.
Right up, it's on the hat. It's on the hat.
We'll get to that later.
Honestly,
So what do I need an iArcade for when I have a Build-A-Cade?
Ooh,
all right. Enough of this. How much, Glenn, are you paying her? Is this going to be the whole show? She's going to be She's going to be Shillacade. Come on. No, it's only Steam. Zero Redux says in the chat room, so you can get it on the Steam Deck if you have a Steam Deck.
Or Steam.
Cool.
I have a Steam account.
You can get it on a Steam account.
There
Play it
you
on a Goofy Foot also says that.
All right, good.
Guys, we've got some Arcade 1-Up news, but I promise you we are not going to spend probably more than 5 minutes on it. So just bear with us.
Arcade 1-Up. News and notes.
You guys are like talking about Steamy and steaming. And, anyways,
Pile.
so if you guys didn't see it, if you were living under a cave, because there's probably been 50 bazillion videos that have gone out, and I'm not going to waste the time, and you guys have probably already watched them, and that's fine. So
Cover me, Porkins.
we don't want to waste you guys' time, but this Monday for the 6 p.m. Eastern, that 1-Up show returns. Not to tell you about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 finally getting online, not to tell you that NFL Blitz is finally going to work correctly, but to let you know that there's going to be a new Star Wars release. And if you didn't notice that, you can see
Probably episode 7. No one's going to want it.
well, you you can see the Death Star behind the information there. I know for a fact because I've been following this one thread, and I think they leaked it through on Reddit. But there's going to be a re-release of the Star Wars. It's going to be the exact same stand up. It's going to have different side art. Apparently, their controls are going to be a little different. Glenn, I don't know how much better
Hey,
they're
if they
going to
put
be.
Ray on there, burn it.
But here, my son.
Wait, where
My
did
son
we
let
hear
me
all
use this. My son let me use this just for the demonstration. So you can see there's a lot of resemblance between that and that. Maybe I have to cant it a little bit more, right? Like that. There.
for the purpose of demonstration.
For the purpose of demonstration. So that's the big news. Re-release, nothing new out the door. Some of you guys
Hey, I saw
guys-
somebody in there mention MK4.
it won't be MK4 unfortunately yet.
No.
no.
We know it's not going to be MK4, but like, I want to say something about that. For everybody in the community, and I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence here, but I just thought I would run this by you guys. You guys realize that like the amount of time to acquire and then develop a game that hasn't been released on the or a platform yet, outside of anything that's mainstream, like it's really actually like time consuming, the process is. So even if, let's say that Arcade 1-Up was listening and said, hey, what are we going to do about this? Like the amount of time that it would take from storyboard to actually like happening to actual film that's getting released in the theater, for example, it's a long time. Like it takes a while.
Mhm.
So, even if for all of us who would love to see MK4, even if we think it sucks on Arcade 1-Up, it would take a very long time for that actually to be developed and then to be released and for all those things to happen. Like, so I'm just being realistic.
No,
with that.
that's yeah. Who let
then-
this
Absolutely.
who let this guy in the chat room here? MG. You got to be a muppet if you order direct. That was shots fired, MG.
Oh boy.
That's he's not going to let me live this down. This is going to be ongoing.
Wait,
But you're right.
wait.
But you're right.
Here's another one. Bo says, any thoughts on the emulator controversy using non-commercial emulators? I will say this. I have seen things all over Reddit that talk about other companies as well. And I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm just saying I think that things get brought to light through narratives that want to meet a certain path that fits
Yeah.
that narrative and keeps it going. I will say that I don't think it's isolated to one specific company.
But this is what I would say to people out there, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but this is what I would say to you. As much as, this movement has been gaining traction, if they decide to not listen, that should be your indication that they really aren't listening to the community, even though they come on every live show and tell you that they're listening to the community. That should be something that is like a red flag to everybody going, this is all just cheap marketing talk. And frankly, anything that you ask for is just going to fall on deaf ears. You know that if they have the license for 3, I'm sure they can get the license for 4. It's not going to be that difficult. It's going to take time, like you said, Jade.
Yeah.
But
I think it's more a matter of can they actually emulate it? Can they get it to run?
That's going to be the tough
than
spot.
anything else.
Well, yeah,
So,
the development aspect of it is going to be the biggest part because
Mhm.
you know it's going to come down to A, hardware, B, devs, and C, the amount of time that it's going to take you know, for them to develop it on that hardware, and also how they're going to do it because there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you know they may not go the emulation route with it.
Mhm.
So
well, so John D posted in Facebook a couple of days ago. He was asking people, do you want this and why? He was trying to get a feel for it. And, a bunch of people answered, and I answered, and I said, yeah, basically I thought it would be a good thing, complete the set for people who really like the Mortal Kombat games. And at one point I even said to him, think about it this way.
So horrible.
No other arcade system out there right now has any 3D fighters on it at all.
Right.
Whether you think Mortal Kombat is a great 3D fighter or a lousy one, it's a let's face it, it's a 2.5D fighter. It's got the 3D polygons, but it still plays like a 2D fighter for the most part. Still, if they were to do it, it would be a little bit of bragging rights to say, look, we did something nobody else has done yet.
I agree with that.
yeah.
And listen,
I mean,
I've said it before. I've said it to you guys. Mortal Kombat 4 is not one of my favorite games. Have I played it? Yeah. Do I play it? Yeah. But I don't think anybody that's passionate about it, if they want to complete their collection, I'll support that. I've signed a petition.
Yeah.
I'm just, when I say I'm not a fan, that doesn't mean I don't think anybody else should have it. Just like, I mean, Glenn knows we've talked about Raspberry Pis. I'm not a fan of a Raspberry Pi. Have I used them? Yeah. Would I use them again? Probably. But are they my favorite? No. There's nothing wrong with that.
The new Orange Pi though, that thing looks pretty sick. It looks pretty beefy. I'm not gonna lie. I think Nostalgia released a video today about
nice.
it, and I was taking a look at it because I was very curious to see like what it could run. And I mean, it was about on par with where I was kind of hoping it would be. I think that the price point is just way too high when you're looking at that compared to a micro PC as options, for example. You're going to get way more punch for less buck with a micro PC. However, in another year, that technology is going to be great, for $60.
And I also,
fantastic.
I think what Buy Stuff Store's doing is really good too with their Android PC, their Android build that they're doing with like the Ridge Racer mod.
The
X96. I mean, for what it's doing, I'm actually on the list to get that for my Ridge Racer because I'm like, man, 150 games. Now that's something I would want to mod so I could have one racing cabinet and do all those cool stuff, cool things with it. So I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens, how this all plays out. Somebody in the chat room had asked, wait a minute, Glenn, the game that you're playing is not in the iArcade store. What gives? And we're going to get to that a little bit later. But Glenn, do you want to answer that really quick?
Monday. It'll be out Monday.
This upcoming Monday, right?
This upcoming Monday, correct.
Is it Monday or is it tomorrow? I thought it was tomorrow.
I'm sorry, tomorrow. Friday. Yes.
Okay.
You got it on Monday.
I'm concentrating on a game here.
Was it the last episode of our show that we talked about Arcade 1UP's kind of restructure that in that article?
We did, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because Bo said Arcade 1UP is more about easy money, especially after 2022. I think with like some of the abominations that happened in 2022 and the restructuring of the company, like I'm very interested to see what 2023 is going to bring about. And I'm just saying that from a very neutral point of view. Like I'm interested to see what, if there is going to be some changes.
Well, and you got to take into consideration the world situation,
so.
Not to get political, but you really need to take into consideration the world situation and how much money people are actually going to have to spend on this stuff. When with the cost of living going up, are people going to have the money to do that?
The cost of supplies and electronics.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything's
going
and all that
up.
too is all
It's all going up. So
it
might be a whole
like
year.
That's not like a farce, when you're hearing stuff like that. It's true.
Glenn had tacos.
We're still waiting for your fart sound. Though.
He's over here.
Taco Thursdays.
Taco. But we do have
before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick before we move on from Arcade 1UP, just two other things real quick. So talking about the Star Wars release, there was a post, and actually you can go to it now. Best Buy is showing.
Oh, that's
the
right.
Star
I do
Wars
have that
cab
pulled up. Yeah.
on their site. It's showing sold out right now, but apparently it was active for a little while, and it looks like completely like the old one. So there's a good possibility that is exactly that. It's a placeholder, and that is exactly what
is
they're
it the
releasing.
same? Is it the same
Same
SKU,
art,
though?
everything.
Yeah,
Is it the
it's
same SKU,
Yes,
though?
because it actually says it was released in 2019.
yeah. Let me
Then
let
it
me
can't
fold
be,
over
that
here.
can't be correct then.
Well, they Best Buy tends to pull it off their shelf. I saw this too earlier, and I wasn't 100% sure. This looks different than mine though. Mine have all silver bezels, and my kick plate is silver, where this is like a copper.
Yeah.
So
It could just be the photograph, though.
it
Yeah,
could
it
be.
It could absolutely
Yeah.
be. Look, I'm not saying this is a 100% indicator.
But
just it's interesting
this
that it
looks
came up.
different. Mine does not look like that. My switches do not look like that, and neither does my yoke. That
Well,
looks
yeah,
cheap.
but you know why? Because
I know it's a
they
render.
always do stuff like that in the picture. Yeah, like their
It's arcade
renders
one-up,
always
it's a
Could be the
slightly
render.
different.
Yeah, it could just be the render.
But
So,
everything
we'll
else
have to
looks-
wait and see for sure.
Yeah.
Look at the render of MVC2 and some of their other fighting cabs, like very different than
Yeah.
from what it
Very
actually
true.
looks
But
like.
I would caution people, and I would caution anybody that's buying this, because I saw a bunch of guys in the groups going, "Oh, I bought it. I'm ready to go." If you bought the old one, you're going to be upset, because with the new one coming, if they include some kind of live, and that's really what you want. I mean, I personally don't care, but
What if they? Because it says 449. So what if they like released?
what if they release?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
What if there was like they had like leftover stock that they like pushed out or something?
That's probably what they did, and that's why I would
Yeah.
say I'd caution
and then
people
and
with
then
buying
and
it.
then they have like the actual right.
That's why I'm saying anybody out there, if you pre-order it, you bought it, you may want to unbuy it. You may want to cancel
Like
it,
why
because
else would that SKU show up?
I
in
would
there?
I would
Yeah, I don't
bet
know.
that it's probably not the new one. They would probably get in trouble. I know with putting stuff like that out early. That's just me, but
The
I don't know if I would do that.
the other thing that I saw, just to kind of wrap everything up, is it looks like if you did miss out on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you may get another shot at it, because about 500 of them hit the docks a couple days ago.
But wasn't that for the pre-orders that already were done through that one? I forget what the name of the vendor was. Somebody help me in the chat room, but I thought it was for they were the pre-orders from that particular company. That's what I was
Were
under
they?
the impression. I believe
Okay.
so. Somebody in the chat room help me out with that.
I guess that's a possibility too. I happened to notice it today, and I think they hit like 2 or 3 days ago.
But you're right, they did have
Oh.
500, but I think it was for the pre-orders of one of the
Ah.
stores. So there might be some
Okay.
leftovers. People are always canceling orders, so you might
Mhm.
still get one. But
Star Wars is by far like hands down one of the best cabs that has released. It's one of the most nostalgic. It's one of the it's just special.
yeah. And
Yeah,
stupid.
either way, even if it's just a re-release of the old one, I will probably wind up ordering it.
Oh,
I
Shop
don't have it.
Hippo.
You
Shop
definitely don't want to
Hippo.
miss it. You
Shop
definitely don't want to
Hippo.
miss the Star Wars cap.
Right.
If it is
Yeah.
a re-release.
Yeah.
And let me go back here.
I mean, people
Stupid
sell those
Fat
things
Hobbit.
for like $750 on
Yeah, they're
OfferUp.
ridiculous. Stupid Fat Hobbit said, "Well, Costco broke street date on Blitz, so it's not out of the equation for Best Buy to do so." Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, technically, Best Buy too. They had it on the floor a few days before it was supposed to go on sale. Some people were saying that the store wouldn't actually sell it to them, but I'm sure there were stores that did.
But I'm with Chris on this. Chris McCoy, he says probably old stock, and I 100% agree with that. I think there's people that are going to be really disappointed when they get this cabinet and it's not anything new.
But look, if they're seeing that and they're ordering that SKU and they see like that's the picture, like that's what they should be expecting, right? I mean, and that's the price.
How
point,
long you
like,
been in this community?
Look, what we
No. How long you been in this community?
Not long enough.
Okay, did you see the big debacle going on about this guy getting an AtGames for $3.99 and this one getting it for $3.50 and this one getting it for $1.99?
I remember people pre-ordering stuff, and people went in the
But
store
what-
and bought
Shut
it
up,
and
Glenn.
didn't get his machine. Just saying.
What my point was is didn't it show up on the Arcade One Up website? Oh no, I'm thinking of the deluxe cabs.
Yeah, the
They
deluxe
showed up
cabs.
with
Yeah.
like a $5.99 price point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, but either way, even if you did get the old one, let's just say the artwork is different, like I'm expecting. It's still great. It's one of the games that'll never leave my arcade. Even if I went through and sold it. I mean, I have the sit down one. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites to this day. Not just because I have the highest score on it, but it is
But
one
the
of my
sit-down
favorites.
one is just really the regular one without the base and
Yeah. I wanted that experience of sitting down and flying it. And
How's she gonna take it to the base?
listen, we can take it to the base. Don't you worry about that.
It is all about the base.
I go around to many bases.
Hey, you guys,
So-
you know what is
Okay.
really weird tonight? I have not seen any super chats. That is so weird.
All right. On that note, really quick, we got the return of Make or Break. Check it out.
Make or break.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Make or Break. Today's Make or Break is the Sega Genesis, the first 16-bit, well, one of the first 16-bit revolutionary leaders, at least according to Sega. There's been some discrepancy as to what is better, Sega or Nintendo. We all saw the commercials, Mario versus Sonic. The game library versus Nintendo's family-friendly game library. But what really did kill the Sega Genesis? Let us know in the comments.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
16-bit arcade action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade hits.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't. The 16-bit Genesis system by Sega. Genesis does it all.
They're already
That's
getting
why
into
you
an
don't get
argument.
back seat, because when you get
They're
back-
already getting into an
Sorry.
argument about why Sega died and this. All right, so Make or Break, guys in the chat room. Did it make or break? Why did it make or break? Glenn, why did it break?
Hey, that's
Sega
not fair.
Genesis-
He wasn't even prepared.
That's how I want my best. I want my best when I'm not
Well, I
prepared.
figured since you guys already were prepared for it, you could clean up whatever mess
Okay,
he makes.
first of
The
all,
Genesis-
Keith Courage and Alpha Zones.
Oh,
We're not
God.
talking about
Wait,
Keith Courage and
wait,
Alpha Zone. That was a
Courage
commercial
And
conversation.
Alpha Zones killed
All right.
the Sega Genesis.
No, go
So,
ahead.
honestly, what really killed the Sega Genesis was Sega themselves were trying to do too many things. They were afraid of too many people when they had the market. The Genesis had the market in that time frame. They're still worried about Nintendo. They're worried not really about TurboGrafx 16, but other people coming in like other consoles coming in like 3DO.
Like Jaguar.
They were just over worried. They were releasing the Sega CD with no software support.
PlayStation.
32X with
Yeah,
no
so-
software
yeah.
support. They caused such a disarray with its own market. People just walked away from it. I mean, people bought I bought a Sega CD and it had really powerful hardware in it, and all I got was full motion video games. They had extra CPUs in there. They had scaling and zoom in there. Then they released a 32X with a Saturn like right around the corner. People didn't know what the hell they wanted.
Could they have
That's what kinda
survived
killed it.
though? Could they have survived if they didn't rush these 32Xs and the Sega CD and all that other stuff?
Again, the Genesis had the market. It had the leading market share. They
Okay.
could have just kept the sports games coming out, which they were doing really good with.
Mhm.
They could have kept coming out with, blast processing games.
Mhm.
They would have been okay. They shot themselves in the foot with too many peripherals that were not cheap and didn't have enough software support behind it. And that's kind of what turned the people off to it, in my opinion.
All right, Jade,
Yeah.
go ahead. You're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I partially agree with Glenn, but like here's the thing: Saturn came out in 1994, which was the same year roughly that they released the 32X. And the thing was, like, the 32X was like the poor man's Sega Saturn. They're like, "Ooh, I can play Virtua Fighter on it," and it's true, you could, and it was halfway decent or whatever for what it was. But yeah, I mean, part of the issue became the fact that they kept releasing so many peripherals, and then you would have to buy different versions of these games that you may have already bought. And then they came out with the Saturn, which had what was it when it originally came out? Like a $2.99?
It was
or
it was
$1.99?
expensive. It was.
No,
Was
it
it-
was $3.99.
It was $3.99.
It was not $3.99.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't. It was no.
I
no
thought
$2.99.
it was
$3.99.
$2.99.
Well,
no,
now you know.
Sega CD was $2.99.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, those are really expensive. So the problem was that people weren't buying those because of the market at the time. Like that was extremely expensive. I mean, what do we look at now on average? Anywhere between $2.99 to
$500-$600.
$4.99. So, so yes, in a sense, they did peripheralize too much, but I think that the pricing and then the availability of game variants was what was like really killing them towards the end, and then there was like this rift between Sega Genesis 32X and then the Sega Saturn itself, which kind of, I think, tore it apart. It was almost like this dead space where then PlayStation came out a year later, or actually technically a little bit less than a year later, and was just right on the tail of Saturn. And it was just a much better console. It was what is it?
MG. He's going after me again.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
read that. Go ahead and read that.
Oh, jeez.
I remember buying my Mega CD Direct. Big mistake. I did have Night Trap though, and as a young man, I lost a lot of bodily fluids to that title.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that's kind of my take on it. So there was like this rift, where you had like this year time period where PlayStation kind of came and took over in a lot of ways, and then the only thing that was really kind of remaining was these smaller versions of the Sega consoles that they kept reiterating to kind of like save the sales of that, along the way, as like, kind of like an ET when he's throwing out the little what are they, Reese's?
Reese's peanut
That's
butter
kind of like what
little
Sega was doing.
pieces.
They're like, follow us, but
also,
at the end of
they did have
at the
they
end
had
of the
the
trail, it was
Genesis.
a
But they had the Genesis. They also had the the JVC. They also had the CDX. They even had multiple versions of the Genesis.
right, yeah.
Mm.
But then they had like Sega TV. They
Mhm.
had
Game Gear.
they had some things that if you think about it were kind of cutting edge at the time, but just like the market wasn't ready for, like it wasn't adapted to it yet. And so that's why I think that they lost a lot of revenue in those areas. But anyways, I think that PlayStation kind of came in and took over. While the Saturn was a good system and that there was a fan base for it, it was just it couldn't compete with what the PlayStation really grew to be. And then you had the Dreamcast era, which was just an amazing
Hey,
system.
we're on
but-
Sega. We're Genesis. Stay.
Yeah.
Don't take away my make or breaks.
Anyways,
Come on.
I think that Sega basically just they shot themselves in the foot.
All right, Bill. Do you agree? Was it the 32X Sega CD that and all the other ones that killed it? Was it the PlayStation that killed it? Like Jade said. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is, I mean, like everybody was saying here, they had a real jump on the market. They had 2 years on Nintendo before the Super Nintendo came out, or Super Famicom in Japan. I mean, either way, it was 2 years. And they sold like 30 million of those. That was probably their best. I think it was their best-selling console that they ever had. So they had a good shot at it. But yeah, once Nintendo came out, they felt like they had to one-up them again with all these peripherals. And I think it was Orion's Dream in the chat said something that
Yep.
I 100% agree with too. He said Sega of America and Sega of Japan just could not see eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
There was constant fighting between the two of them, and the fact that they couldn't get it together, whereas Nintendo was a lot more unified in that, I think made a big difference as well. And then yeah, you add on to it like all the peripherals, the PlayStation coming in and undercutting them, doing a CES or whatever it was at the time, and basically just coming up and $299 and walking off when the Saturn was going to be $399 or whatever. Yeah, all that stuff just completely contributed to it.
Richard Dello in the chat room, he said the other thing was to take into consideration was Sony partnering with Nintendo. That changed it all as well.
Yeah, until Nintendo said F you and
Right.
went to what was it? Was it
but I think they had
Was
to
it
compete. They had to
Philips
come
or
up with something
Panasonic?
like
Who
that.
was
it was
it
it
they
was
actually went
Philips.
to?
It was Philips, and actually
Philips.
Sony almost went then to Sega
Yeah.
because they were
Mhm.
so pissed off at Nintendo. But at that time, Sega already had their CD coming out, so they weren't with it.
Hey,
Yeah.
we got some great games on the CDI from Nintendo because of that. So
Oh
thank
yes.
God they
Oh,
did
that's
that.
listen,
right.
I'm not complaining
Oh.
about it. I just
You should be.
Those Zelda games are fire.
yeah. Glenn doesn't know anything about Zelda. We're not going to go down that
Oh
road.
no, I meant they should be in a dumpster fire. That's
Oh, but no, I just thought it was interesting because I thought about it for a little bit when I was thinking about the make or break, and I was like, okay, why did the Genesis die? Because like I thought it was a great system. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My brother was predominantly Nintendo. I was the rebel. I went after the Genesis stuff, and I just felt like there was more longevity with the Genesis. I mean, who didn't like Sonic?
It was just that
fast.
time, though. I mean, like Super
Yeah.
Nintendo wasn't far behind, technically, if you think about it. It wasn't that far behind in its death because, then you had the PlayStation and the 32-bit era, and, Nintendo then piggybacked off that with the quote-unquote 64-bit Nintendo 64, which we all got shafted on KI with because we all thought that we were getting the
That's right.
direct
Arcade One
port.
updid it for us, so we're good.
But anyways, I mean, it wasn't far behind. I feel like by the time that Sega was really dying off. The thing about the Genesis though was that it had the CPU in it was a Motorola. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it was a Motorola CPU, and
68,000.
yeah, and that is it's relevant to like the arcade games of like that time frame too. So you had a very like the sprites and everything about it, the sound
The
effects,
generation
music
ended, like he said.
were there was a
That's
lot
true.
of things that the Genesis did that Nintendo didn't.
All right. We saw the commercial. We got it.
But
she liked that.
anyways, I think that it's part of the era too, but definitely like the peripherals and stuff, they had a lot of cutting edge ideas, but they just didn't employ it right. So it didn't work.
Bo says the 32-bit era killed both the SNES and Genesis. Yes and no, only because the 32X was slower and god awful than the Genesis. In all honesty, most games like I even have some over there, and it was just
also
slow.
challenged them though. It challenged.
Oh no, it did. It
the
challenged.
SNES, 'cause
It
there was some
made the
cool
progression.
games that
The
came out towards
32X,
the
I
end
guess
of the
not
time.
32X. The 32-bit system didn't really do it because SNES had like Donkey Kong Country. They had 3D. They were pre-rendered 3D, but they showed that you could still have a fun game, Donkey Kong Country, with pre-rendered 3D that the SNES could do just fine.
So
it really comes down to people just wanting CD optical technology.
Right.
They wanted that next level
well,
of gameplay.
And that's Jamie says TechBuzz Gaming best Sega console, Genesis or Dreamcast. Dude, I am Dreamcast all the way. Dreamcast by
Dreamcast
far
is one of the best consoles of all time
ever.
Yep.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that one.
No.
That is
If
the best console.
If Sega was to re-release the Dreamcast as it was back then, I'd buy it.
Oh,
Even,
yeah.
The graphics still hold up today in 2023. Which is a fun console.
Is just it's an amazing console. It's literally like, I mean, you guys have heard me say it a million times. It's an arcade console in your like house. It's just a little box that they managed to fit like 3 different arcade systems in. Basically, it's amazing.
All right, we have a bit of AtGames news here. We're going to talk to you guys a little. Well, we're not going to talk to you. We're going to show you.
AtGames news and notes.
if you guys want to take a chance, some of you guys had asked about the pinball tables and pinball packs. These are the times to get them. Maybe not so much the hardware stuff, because there's some deals out there. We were talking about Sam's Club. I recently just upgraded my Legends Ultimate 1.0 to the 1.2. And the only reason I did that was because, well, $350 was a steal. But then, being in the groups of Facebook, and I was telling Glenn and Jade and Bill, being in those groups, somebody had posted over in California, Jade, that you guys at Sam's Club had it for $189. So they sent a picture, and if you went into the chat on samsclub.com and you told them, like, hey, I seen it at one of your other stores for $189, they would price match it. So ultimately, I got my new one for $189, and then I donated my other AtGames Legends, so that way we had it, because I don't need two of them. But you couldn't pass it up for less than $200, and you get a brand new Legends. I mean, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, well, I think they got wise to that little scheme because I tried it for the pinball and they told me it didn't qualify.
Why didn't it qualify?
They didn't say, just that it didn't qualify.
Because we're in New York.
You got to go.
I got back.
You got to keep going back and forth with them. You got to just push a little bit.
I went back and forth with somebody who basically said, "Oh, I have to escalate this," and then like 4 days later, they sent me an email.
Did you say I'm walking here?
I would go back in and try it again with somebody else, because, like I said, it took me twice to do it, because the first one was going to escalate, but I never heard anything after a week, so I went right back in and did it. But either here or there, you could still find these arcades at deals throughout different stores like Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco's.
Yeah.
So you have to see. The shipping is what kills these deals. If I'm going to be completely honest, for these machines, what is it, like $100 to ship the Legends? Which I get it, it's heavy.
They need to do free shipping.
You're not really getting.
They
a
need to
deal
work
on it.
something out. Yeah.
I mean, $200 you can get it at Sam's Club. It's free if you're a Sam's Club member for shipping. It didn't cost me anything.
This
So
is 2023. We don't pay for shipping anymore.
Zero
when
cool.
You buy something over $300.
I remember service merchandise. We had one back home. It had the big diamond on it. My parents, we used to. I remember that one pinball that I showed. It was a little pinball table. It's old. The little one I showed that I picked up at a yard sale. We got that at service merchandise, and I remember it was like $50 or $60, and it was fantastic.
I miss those conveyor belts.
Yeah, right. They didn't last long. They were, they stayed around for so long. But I remember getting the big thick book at Christmas time.
And everything was in glass cases. You couldn't touch a damn thing.
Well, at least you could see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't want little kids touching it.
I do remember that.
We got to move on, guys. This segment is boring.
Well, the AtGames segment was boring. He thought it was
I know,
boring.
this is all exciting to me. I'm having a great time playing this game. So I am fine.
This is the only time Glenn gets to play video games. So, he's actually... We're going to get to the iArcade segment so you guys can learn about the game. We do have a segment coming up. Bill's segment, he's got a really good one this week. For Retro Gaming Spotlight with his gaming console book. Check it out.
Retro Gaming Spotlight.
Hey there everyone, and welcome to another Retro Gaming Spotlight. On this video, I'm not going to be talking about a specific game or system. I'm actually going to be doing a book review. No, it's not Sisterhood of the Secret 50 Shades in the Shack or whatever that kind of book is. You guys will actually like this one. This book actually has pictures. No, I said book, not magazine. Get your minds out of the gutter. Anyway, this was a book that was actually on my wish list for Christmas when my awesome wife got it for me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. This is it. This is the Game Console 2.0, a photographic history from Atari to Xbox by Evan Amos. This is exactly what it sounds like. It is a photographic history of every console, well, most consoles that have been put out since the 70s up until recently. This book was actually published in 2021. And let's just take a quick look at it and show you some of the stuff inside. All right, so here we are taking a look at the book. Like I said, this is the Game Console 2.0. A Photographic History from Atari to Xbox by Evan Amos. This book was originally published in 2021. It was given to me by my wife as a gift for Christmas. It was something that I actually had on my Christmas list because I am a gaming nerd and I love this kind of stuff, and I think you guys will too. Let's just dive in and take a quick look at it. Now, I know it does say Atari to Xbox, but it's a little more than that. And I've just marked a few places here, starting with this. And this, of course, is the Magnavox Odyssey, originally released in 1972. And this is a great way to just start this book off as, you know, the first console ever really produced for home, game playing. And you can see it's got a great picture of the console itself and a teardown on this page. And a lot of the stuff on here, consoles, controllers, all kinds of different stuff, they've done teardowns along with it. So if you're really into like the guts of these machines and what they look like, it's great. And for each console, they've got the year it came out, they've got the launch price, approximately how many were sold, processor and RAM information if there is any, colors, and again an approximation of how many games were released for it. Now obviously with the Odyssey came out at $99. They sold over 330,000, which is amazing to me that this sold that many. No processor, no RAM in it at all. It was only played in black and white, and there were about 28 different game variants on 11 cards. And of course, you could see all the different, things that kind of came along with it. You've got the brown box prototype for it. You've got all the different accessories that came with it because obviously the not so much the manufacturer, but the publisher, the people who produced it, felt like this had to be packaged as a game, not just video games, but a game, with overlays and different accessories and all that kind of stuff to really sell it to the public, because the public had no clue what a home video game system was going to be. Just to point out a few other things really quick, because I don't want to get too much into it. This is the Coleco Telstar. This was actually the first game system that I ever owned as a kid, and it's crazy. It was a system that had was multi-cart, but it came with 4 carts, or you could get 4 carts for it, which had like 4 or 5 games on each, but they were all variations on Pong. You had the 3 different sides here. This side here was for playing the Pong type games with the knob controllers. You had a steering wheel here for steering drive games, and you had a gun here for light gun games, all blocky, single, color type games and whatever, but it was a lot of fun as a little kid. Showing off a couple of other systems real quick, like another favorite of mine. This was another one that I owned. This was the ColecoVision. You can see you've got a teardown of the controller on here. Sega Master System, released in '86. Again, you've got a teardown of the system itself. Again, you can see all the information on here. It launched for $130. They sold over 20 million of them. You got your processor here with RAM and VRAM, how many colors it displayed, and about how many games were released for it. Of course, here's the Super NES, same kind of information, a little bit of history to go along with each one. And of course, a favorite of a lot of people is the Dreamcast. Again, a little information about it on here. So just a great book for if you're into the history of gaming consoles. This is a fantastic encyclopedia / coffee table book to just have in your arcade for people to kind of look through, when they're not playing your games. All right, so there you have it. That is the book, The Game Console 2.0. You can pick this up at pretty much any bookseller out there, whether it's Amazon or Barnes & Nobles. It retails for about $40. Like I said, it makes a great addition to your arcade. Put it on a shelf somewhere. Let people look through it when they're not playing your games and just get a little history on all of these consoles that have come out over the years. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. All right, so there's a little something different for this week. Trying to bring a little culture to the show with a book review.
Now we know why they call you Wild Bill.
There's wild. That was wild.
Yep. So, Mad Astra Gaming, was it Mad Astra? Yeah. Did all consoles in the 70s come with firearms? So yeah, that was a light. So it was a light gun for that console. And again, this was the 70s. This was before you had to make guns like bright orange because everybody was afraid that they were going to be, compared to real guns or whatever.
No, they gave
Yeah, it actually
straight
did
up
look
guns.
like a real gun, which was cool. But
Oh my
anyway,
God. It's not funny, but it is.
yeah. But anyway, moving on from that, looks like we have a little bit of news from iArcade.
iArcade. News and notes.
All right, so iArcade has a new game that is going to be releasing tomorrow. And you can see Glenn playing it right now. This is Wizard of Walls, which is basically a reimagined version of the Midway classic Wizard of War. It's a lot of fun. I will say they actually reached out to me last week and asked me if I wanted to get a review copy of it, which I did. Played it, really enjoyed it. I have a review up. It went up earlier this week. You guys can check that out if you want. But yeah, so this is going to release tomorrow for $10.99. Well, what do you think so far?
Well, I just got killed. Thanks, Bill. You got me killed, buddy. I was a big fan of the Midway original Wizard of War. I always thought it was war, like, WAR, but it's WOR, the Wizard of War. And it's a really two-player game. You could do it co-op, or you can basically shoot each other and take each other out. Very fun game. So they took the best aspects of that, added updated visuals, and more sound effects and music. It's really, really fun. If you do like maze games, like a Pac-Man, but also like shooting games, or you want to kill your friend, shoot him in the back, it's really a good game, and I do like the updates. Sometimes they update games and it takes away from the game. Like they overdo on the visuals. This one it's subtle. Like the monsters just look great, which is a nice addition. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, this is one of the few games I got my son to actually play, and he actually goes, "Oh, this is fun." And we played it for a couple hours. So good game to play with someone. Someone will play it on your own.
Can I ask you
well,
guys
it was
something?
actually the same. It was actually the same for me because when I was capturing footage for my review, I asked my daughter to come in and play a couple of games with me, and she really started to enjoy it too.
Can I ask you guys something since you played it, and anybody chime in with this question in the chat room here? And I was kind of thinking the same thing. $10.99. What are they on, crack?
Well, in all fairness, that is the same price you can get it for on Steam.
But you feel it's worth it.
$10.99 on Steam.
It's $10.99 on Steam, so it is the same price.
It's developed by Comfort Zone Games.
Yep. And a lot of times these prices they are set by the developer. So if that's what they're charging on Steam, that's what they want the arcade to charge too.
That's fair. But
it's a game you want to come back. It's not hard, but hard enough where you're challenged, but you want to come back for more. Like you want to try and get. There's a level on here with these spiders, and I keep getting to that. And I keep having these little hatchlings. Yeah, I mean, I want to beat that level, and I want to keep getting back to it, and it's fun getting back to that level. It's not like I'm bored. It's entertaining. It's like Dodo. I love that game too. I could play that time and time again. So $10.99. How much is that game worth if it's fun? Does it is that too much for a fun game? I don't think so.
So Jade, real quick, doesn't this kind of remind you of like Gauntlet in a way?
It does. Yeah, it does have a little bit of like Gauntlet vibes to it. Obviously Gauntlet's, probably better, but it looks like a fun game. Like it kind of reminds me of like a mini game almost. Anything that's kind of sandbox like that gives me like that mini game feel.
Oh boy, there's a super chat that you can read.
Yo boy,
he's at it.
Okay, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Console fanboy, no super chats for 2023. So console fanboy says it's out tomorrow. What? No way! I'm so excited. Can someone loan me $798, please? I gotta get.
Hey, look at it this way. You can't play this on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and MG, he said I should get this one direct. He said it'll arrive much quicker. He's never. I'm telling you, he's not gonna let me live this down.
Let you live it down.
Jeez, ouch! Oh, right here,
we
man.
got another super chat.
Okay, I'll pull it up. I'll get you pulled up here. All right, here we go.
Well, why do you have me on the screen?
Because you're reading it.
Okay. 199 super chat from Console Fanboy. We appreciate your support of the channel so much, Console Fanboy.
He does have
Okay.
a point though on this one.
If after 2 years this is their big game? Question mark. Wow.
and I will say I appreciate the super chats, but honestly, we try to bring up as many comments as we can. You don't feel like you have to give any kind of money to do a super chat or whatever. I know a lot of you guys do them on other channels. Total. I just want to be specific.
We're not
like
about
that.
the super chat.
Not about the super
Well,
chats.
to be fair, I was egging him on, but I was
Okay, but I just don't. I don't want people because listen,
it worked.
we're not e-beggars, but I try to bring up as many while I'm producing here. I try to bring up as many comments as I can, even if we can't read them because I'm reading them.
Yeah.
So,
But in seriousness to his comment there, I don't think anybody is saying this particular game is their big game. It's just another game for them. Now, why they chose to promote it, early by giving it out to a few YouTubers, I don't know with this particular one. Again, it may have had something to do with the licensing deal that they were allowed to do that with this one. What?
I was just reading. Paul Barnes is after you, Jade. He's like, I'm just not feeling it. Can you read it again with a little bit more enthusiasm?
Okay. Well, you got another shot because we got one more from Console Fanboy.
Did one come in? Hang on. Oh, I just got it right here pulled up. All right, I'm pulling it up. There you go.
Okay, we have a 199 super chat from Console Fanboy. Wait, let me try that again. Hold on.
You gotta have a little bit more energy. Paul's not gonna be happy if you don't have more energy and enthusiasm.
Well, if you guys would shut up.
Okay. Wait. We'll count you down. Ready? 3, 2.
Oh.
All right, Console Fanboy, we've got a 199 super chat. Console Fanboy says, no, in all seriousness, Console Fanboy hates the iArcade.
I almost believed you on that one. Almost.
That was better.
That was a lot better. Yeah, I'll give you that.
She brought out a little of her California
chat
Valley
room.
girl in that one.
Yeah, what do you think, chat room? That was better. I mean, it wasn't. I'd give you a 6 on that one. Goofyfoot, he says, I played the Steam version. The iArcade version looks better. Okay,
Ooh.
well that's a good.
You know why? You know why? Because it's being shown with my face on it. Look at this. Hey, that's what's making the difference.
So are you getting a cut for every time somebody buys this?
Oh, someone's gonna cut me for sure, but not money-wise.
Oh, Paul says now you sound like a DJ.
Well, isn't
I
that
was
what
a
he
DJ
wanted?
back in
Andy-
What do you want?
Well,
Paul?
so
Make up your
Andy
mind.
Andy wants a Russian accent. That's what Andy wants.
All right, I can do that.
All right, can you do a Russian, or are you a Russian spy?
Am I reading something or?
Well, don't you know the other one by heart? He just said he hates the iArcade, so just basically here I'll pull it back up for you. So
Okay,
wait,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. There it is. There it is. Should we call you Boris or
Natasha.
Natasha?
Yeah, Natasha.
Okay, Natasha.
We have 199 super chat from Console Fanboy. No, in all seriousness, iArcade truly sucks.
That's your best. You got to for the super chats. You got to do the Russian.
Yeah.
That was
From now on,
that
that's
was
it.
hilarious.
Yep.
That was good.
Oh my god.
What do you guys think in the chat room? Give us a thumbs up or put a 1 in the chat room. That was the best one she's done, right? Oh, Moose and Squirrel.
Moose and
Now we're
Squirrel.
Oh man.
I'll be
Hey, you
here
gotta
all
have a
night.
little bit of fun here, even if Oh, sweet Welsh accent. Okay, well, see, now you're gonna have to work on these.
Now
for
they're
the
really
show.
trying
They're
it,
gonna,
all right.
yeah, they're really
Oh,
trying
boy.
to. But no, seriously, if you are interested in this game, tomorrow it comes out. I appreciate Glenn and Bill, having early access to it to tell us, what they think of it here, and Glenn kind of playing it as we're going through the show. It's keeping his attention. Just don't give him any fighting games, because that's just disastrous. But Jade, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you because you have something that you want to talk about, which I thought was you and I were kind of discussing this through text message about something to do with Game Boy.
Well, before you turn it over to me, I should probably read this super chat.
Oh, is there another one? Dang it!
One more, yeah.
Oh, let me look back through. Oh, okay. Commandant Console Fanboy.
Definitely got to read the super chat.
All right, there you go. All right.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. All right. I've got to bring out my inner Natasha. Wait, that's my name, right? Natasha.
Yeah, it's Natasha. Yep.
Okay, we have $4.99 super chat from Console Fanboy. You guys will play this game twice, and then it will live forever with the other 300 games in that ugly UI. 4.
I don't know. I'm
Forever,
kind of dirty.
I
I don't know if she should be saying that anymore like that.
All right. Before we move on, though, for that, let me bring something up because
Is it warm in here or is it just me?
It's very warm in here. I don't know.
There's a debate going on in the chat room right now about types of games. I've stated for a while that I would like to see the newer games on this machine because on the AtGames Legends, I can play the older games. The arcade one-ups, I can play the older games. Panel, what games would you like to see on the iArcade? If Jong said, right now, I'm going to do whatever you ask, what would you like to see? In chat room, put in there what you would like to see. Because, listen, it doesn't matter if we say we don't like it or we do like it. You guys like it or you don't like it. Put it in there. You know, you never know. Things could change, right?
MK4.
No. You're off the show. Get off the show. Hang up. Go away.
Oh, spiders. Spiders.
Glenn, what do you want to see? Do you want to see more retro, or do you want to, like newer retro, like Donut Dodo, or do you want to see newer games, like a newer modern?
I am more of a retro guy. I want to see the older games. You know, I would like to see a good quality version of Berserk, Space Fury, fun games I really enjoyed. The older stuff. Myself.
Okay.
Crazy
Bill, what do you? Crazy Climber, Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I've said this a number of times too. Look again, retro guy, love the old stuff. They've got, I was actually really happy to see the IRAM games that came out on it recently. They've got Taito, they've got Data East, they've got Sega games on there. I'd love to see some more Sega games get put on there for sure.
Okay, Sega games. I'm pulling them up, guys, because it'll be on the video. So, a lot of the guys in the chat room, they're going Modern Warfare 2. I don't think you're gonna get Modern Warfare 2 on that.
No.
Cyber Sled. Jade, what about you? What do you, if to get you to buy it again?
They would have to come out with all the good fighting games, and especially because it could totally do it. Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers.
Well, all right, let me throw this one out there. What about some of the Neo Geo games? That license seems like it's up for grabs, and they've got a few games on there already that were on the Neo Geo.
Yeah, but at least on mine, they didn't emulate very well.
I'm going through everybody's here. If you look at the chat room, though, a lot of guys are vast variety of games, and that's not a bad thing. But it's I look at what iArcade has currently as a library, and it's nothing what these guys are asking for. So my question then comes up is, where's the disconnect? Who's telling Jong that these are the games he should put on?
Look, here's the thing about the iArcade. It's not supposed to be solely an arcade platform. It's an arcade style platform that you can play games on. A lot of these games are third-party games, indie developers. They're just not. They're not standardized arcade games per se. It's just an arcade style platform that you can play some arcade games on. And so I think that that's where the disconnect is. I think that if you don't really understand that that's kind of what the market is for the iArcade, you're going to be disappointed, that's just kind of the way that I look at it after seeing where its place is in the home arcade market.
The phone.
Thanks,
Oh,
John.
oh, dang it! I put the wrong picture in there. There's the phone number.
Oh yeah,
Oops.
yeah. Oh yeah. Wrong
Sorry.
picture. Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yes,
That was my
Biggie
fault.
D, we
That
know
was my
we know
fault.
that it has we know that it does have arcade classics on it, but that's not the point. It can play arcade games. It has some arcade classics on it, and there are some really good ones on it. I agree. But what I'm saying is generally speaking, it's being marketed as a product that is an arcade platform which you can play like all kinds of games on, console games, and it's been called a console. So I
Let me see if it
Oh,
comes up.
Bill,
here.
I finally got past the spiders, man.
Ah.
Took him out. Took him out.
So let's see if it pulls this back in. Restarting the
Great.
stream.
Great. You're gonna be over me on the leaderboard now.
Well, we did have some storms that rolled through here. All right, it looks like it's back up. So everybody just if you can type in the chat room to these guys.
there we go.
It looks like everything's back up.
Yeah.
Looks better.
Sorry about that, guys. It's a lot better. Sorry about that. We did have some storms roll through here, the cold front that came through, and I was worried that something like that would have happened, but we should
You
be
see,
Adam, my
Part
man in the back.
of the problem, Stephen.
Okay, here you
Okay.
go.
Part of the problem is that when you're not in my bosom, there's nothing to keep you warm.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
So things begin to get very cold.
Oh boy.
It's like my little babushka, Zohar. I bring him in. I hold him tight. I
Wait,
keep
did you
him-
just call Zohar babushka? Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
I hold
Okay.
him in big bosom while
This,
drinking
this
Russian
show
vodka.
just took a turn.
All right, we're gonna get into Jade's subject matter, but let me tell you guys something here. Many of you, I don't know if you saw or you even follow RGT85. He had a heart attack this week, a walking heart attack. He was in the hospital. He came out, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but he was going to be on the show tonight. He was going to be a surprise panelist to talk about this stuff with us tonight. I had him all scheduled, and then I find out he had a heart attack. And we scheduled him. I scheduled him last week already, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on with you guys and chat and talk about home arcade." And then last night I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, are you good to go?" He says, "Let me know." He says, "Let me see how I feel tomorrow," meaning today, and I'll let you know if I can jump on. And I was like, "Okay." And I messaged him today, and he's like, looked like he was back in the ER. So thoughts and prayers go out to RGT85. I hope you get better. Hopefully, maybe he can get on next week with us here. I know Angel Otero wants to come on too. We're going to get him on, and he's been very patient. We've been kind of moving him around too. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there to everybody that he was going to come on the show tonight and hang with us all and talk. So hopefully next week we'll get RGT on here and have some fun, and maybe he'll have something different to say about the iArcade. I don't know. But Jade, what's going on with the Game Boy stuff that you got here? I got these all queued up here.
Yeah. And also I definitely wish I wish him the best. Like
Yes.
that's really a crappy situation to be in. Okay, so Game Boy stuff. So do you have those clips or
do.
picture
I
slash
do. It's
clippy?
right there.
Okay, so
Real quick.
I had sent these pictures to Steven, and I had no idea, but I just kind of been like looking at pricing for Game Boy games that I had across the internet, kind of, because they go on eBay for pretty high price depending on what the game is, and I come to find out over the last couple weeks, like every single game that you guys see right there, that is complete in box, are worth $100 or more. Some of them are worth like $300. Like World Heroes 2 Jet is one of the $300 one. I'm like, really? Rayman Advance. So I mean, like, just right there, no joke, that's like $2,400 minimum worth of games, and these are prices that they're going for. And I was just thinking, like, what is it that curves the market that says, okay, this is what I'm selling for, and this is what people are actually going to pay for these.
Mhm.
Like, a lot of people say, well, that's what it's going for on eBay, but that's not really what it should be going for. And I'm like, are we at the point though where it is what it should be going for? Because these have become such a rarity. Like what, is the price curve that determines this about these games. And I was really interested to talk about it with obviously the panel and the chat as well, to get some feedback from you guys and see what you think about it, because I think that's something that is really relevant to the current market for, what we call retro gaming. But all of those I have had since I was a kid. Like I got them when I was a kid. So I didn't, go back and buy those for a ton of money. Like I got them on sale, or I got them as birthday presents. And I have a bunch that are out of the box. Like I have like Castlevania Adventure and some other ones. So anyways, I'm just curious to see, like, in general, like it doesn't just have to be Game Boy games, but like what you guys think like actually defines like a real price point for the market of retro games.
Don't everyone speak at once.
Am I alone?
No, it's actually a really interesting question, and it's a tough one. I mean, a lot of it really just has to do with what people are willing to pay for something.
Yep, that's what it comes down to ultimately.
I mean, you could ask any price you want, but it's what people are ultimately willing to pay for. And some of it has to do with, rarity. Some of it has to do with nostalgia. What people are really people really desire a particular game, but it's hard to get.
You guys know, like I've been out collecting. I've been going around getting.
Yeah,
a lot
we
of the
know,
games,
and you get it on the cheap.
and I get them cheap. So I watch a lot of folks. Like one of my good buddies, Mr. Rightway, Steve Wright. I've been friends with him for almost 15 years. I watch a lot of his content where he shows you. If you watch his videos, he shows you how to get these deals, but Glenn never watches it, so he doesn't know. and go around and go to these pawn shops and go to
pawn shop?
Yeah, pawn shops.
Oh,
Goodwills and Salvation
See, that was
Armies
your problem,
and
Glenn.
Like,
you were going to the wrong shop.
he was going
That's
to the wrong
exactly
shop.
what the problem was.
So I like the last couple of weekends, my son and I, we've got about $500 worth. Now this is price charting values, $500 worth of games for $55 each weekend that we went. So that was probably about 15 games each weekend that we got from the pawn shop. And I got a bunch of almost brand new DS games that must have been a girl that owned it, because they're all like Barbie games. But some of those Barbie games and these Zoom games that I got, they're worth like $75, and I got them for 50 cents at Goodwill.
Yeah.
So, but what? And I'm sorry to interrupt, Stephen, but I'm curious. Like, so out of the stuff that you guys get, let's say that like cardboard box items, that games that are in like cardboard boxes, like that generation, like what kind of condition are they in, and then how can you relate that to like the prices that you're seeing them go for online if you are getting them complete in box?
Well, some of them you got to kind of expect that they're gonna. I mean, for the 30-year-old stuff, you got to expect they're gonna be creases and crushes and stuff. But what I was gonna get at to answer your question was, I will pay up to probably a third of the value of the game, and that's it. Because the reality is, if I go to sell that game to a retro reseller, somebody that's making a living off of that, the most they're going to pay is a third at the high end. And that better be a sealed game. Otherwise, you're going to get maybe $2
you're
for a
talking
$15
about
game.
to a reseller.
Oh, like an exchange or something that
right.
Somebody that has a business in selling retro games, like it's an actual store, they're going to pay you like I said, for instance, a $16 value game unopened. It was a Wii U. It was Ninja Gaiden 3. The exchange wanted to give me, my son just laughed at him. It was like $2.50. And the thing was unopened. And it's worth almost $18. So we took it to another store, a retro game store, and they wanted to give me credit for it. And they gave me almost what the value of it was. They gave me about, it was like $12, $13 for it. But I made out. I had doubles of stuff, and that's how I got that Game Boy and whatnot. But that's my thing. Like the Lynx, the box was pretty rough, but it's still the box. So for the collection, Yeah, 1/3. That's the most I go.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of mine, most of my stuff is stuff that I have collected along the way, or
Well, you still have the
or
plastic on it.
got before it became very expensive. I mean, a lot of the things though that you look at are with the Game Boy ones. What was crazy to me is not a single one of those was worth less than $100 by market value of what it's being sold for. And that's what was crazy to me. I'm like, some of these like don't even seem like a big deal to me. Like World Heroes 2 Jet being over $300, like that's crazy. I'm like, why? You know? And then Samurai Showdown. I used to have Samurai Showdown on Game Boy, and I sold it. I can't remember why, but this was like 2 years ago, and it sold for almost $200.
Wow.
But yours are probably worth even more because, like I said, you have the cellophane still on. I know you cut it open just to get access to the game. I used to do the same thing, but you really protected the box. It's like Glenn putting bags all over everything. He double bagged his. He had the cellophane and the bag. You just
Jan got me for Christmas like 1,000 bags. So
she was smart.
Good.
What he means by bags is depends.
Well, exactly.
Get back into life.
All right, so really quick before we continue on with this conversation,
Bill's so disappointed in me.
We had a I gotta find this here, the voicemail. So you got a voicemail from a fan. Okay, I think this will play. Let's see. Hang on a second. Let me make sure I have it on the right audio because I heard it coming through the built-in speaker. You guys need to be.
Because my fans, they love me. They love me like a deep dish pizza.
Let's try this. Hopefully this works, guys. Let me make sure if I hit play.
Oh, shoot.
Because I didn't set this up ahead of time. I hear it over there, but I'm not hearing it through. Console Fanboy, if I can't get it working, we'll have to play it for next week, but I'll work on it while she continues her talk here on the Game Boy and buying these games on eBay or Mercari. Do you ever check Mercari?
Yeah, I know that's I mean, it's pretty much equivalent. But you see a lot of like what's it called? Like pirated versions of games. So a lot of people open up the games and show you what you're getting and stuff with the Game Boy games. I mean, I'm just very kind of shocked when I go through and look at pricing, even on loose carts sometimes, which are always the ones that they have.
Oops, sorry about Okay, I think I got. All right.
Hello.
I think you're on the air, whoever this is.
Hello. What do you mean you can't play my message? Is Natasha there or no?
Yeah, she is here. Hang on, I'll patch you through. Hang on, I'll patch you through. Beep, doot, doot, doot. Hey, Natasha, you got somebody on the line, a fan.
Hello. I am waiting for this person to speak. Don't speak to me like a little bitch.
Listen, you my daughter. Okay, you my daughter. You need to come home right now. You need to cook me food right now. It's your father.
I am nobody's daughter. I don't like being called daughter. First of all, I'm your mother. You rest your head on my bosom. I smack you in the face if you say anything else. You understand?
Holy shit. I'm so sorry. I first time using internet. I'm so sorry. I apologize. You have good show and everybody subscribe to Console Fanboy.
I want you to be more thankful. Say it from your throat. From
I'm
your
so
chest,
sorry.
like a
I'm
man.
from Russia. I'm so sorry, Natasha. I'm so sorry. Please accept my apology. I'm so sorry. Please, free MK4 and subscribe to Console Fanboy because I'm shameless.
He's my son.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. All right. Well, so I ended up he was calling in at the same time I was trying to get the audio working. So there we go. Maybe you just have to threaten people with in order to get more money out of them for the Game Boy games.
Maybe I don't know.
But I like Mercari personally. I am a Mercari fan. I like to because you can haggle a little bit with it. Where usually on eBay, if you play the bidding game, you usually get outbid. most of the time. Now, Glenn's too cheap. He probably doesn't use eBay.
Yeah, I am.
So when I say I was like watching for a couple weeks, I was watching the bids too. So particularly with the complete in box versions, and I would say that generally speaking, the end like what the bids were going for in the end was roughly comparable to what people were asking for buy it now. On average, I would say. And then of course you're always going to have those people who are asking like triple the price for buy it now, which is like, really absurd, and you're like, haha, I'm not buying that. But I would say on average, like most of the complete in boxes that I saw were going for that buy it now price.
So what were the sale prices? Did you happen to see that? Like, what did they actually sell for? Like, what did people get more than what they were asking, or did they get less? Because usually it's a lot less from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a bid, usually there's no buy it now option, or it disappears once they start bidding. So what I mean to say is just that like what it was going for was generally speaking like the average asking price for buy it now listings. So I mean it was like I was saying, it's over $100 easily. On average, it was about like $110 to $130 depending on the game.
Interesting.
But some of the interesting thing is that some of the really rare ones, you don't even see them up for bid. They're only listed at buy it now, and it's always like a fixed price, so it's competitive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think,
yeah, I mean, so many of the Game Boy ones, complete in box, like it was on average like $100.
Chris is 100% right. That's the other issue I have with buying from like eBay. Because like usually when I go to a retro store, I take a tool with me. I have a special Nintendo tool that takes the screw out of the back. It's not a typical screw. It's like round with like a star shape. It's really weird. But anyways, he says retro collecting
Security
is
bit.
now retro collecting now is crazy. Too many fakes. And unless you check them, and that's a tip I would throw out there. Make sure you check the cartridges to make sure that they're real, because
well, a lot of times on the listings they'll have the cartridge taken apart. And you can see like
but that doesn't mean that's what you're getting though. On on eBay or something like that.
True.
Because look at WADA. I mean, I don't know if you follow your friend over there, the Glenn. Help me out. Who's your buddy over there? The angry guy.
Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, the other angry guy.
Little Pixel.
Mad Little Pixel. Thank you.
Mad Little Pixel.
He just posted a video a week ago where he got attacked by the guy that was selling on eBay because he had WADA grade a fake game.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if WADA's grading fake games, they're not checking them. I mean, you could easily get a real you get messed up on there. So anyways, I do that when I go out to shows.
Look, those grading places are all
they're messing up
just as subjective as everything else, and that's part of what adds to the price too. People are seeing these graded games and how much they're going for, and they're thinking, well, that's how much it's worth. It was the same thing. I collected comics for years, and it's all these comic book grading ones setting prices that drive up the price market.
But the market, I think one of the things that's interesting too about like the Game Boy market is that so many of the games have like a high value mark. Like the target price is very high when you compare it to like some of the other consoles around that same time frame.
Well, it was a high quality fake, like MG says. And P-Dubs,
I mean,
P-Dubs
if you set
subscribed.
aside, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he subscribed for 13 months. Remember, for 13 months, he said WADA is poop.
Yeah. So I just, that's what I found interesting about the market for Game Boy games. I mean, they're just much higher on average than a lot of the other consoles that you're seeing out there. Now, of course, it depends on the game, but I feel like there's also like target games for like Super Nintendo, and stuff like that. But Game Boy in general, like if you were looking for a complete inbox game, they're pretty expensive.
I just started collecting for the Game Boy since I got that Game Boy system, even if they're just loose cartridges. And even the loose cartridges are like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for it's $100. So
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
Gotta love those multi-carts.
but the cool part
Yeah, I
though-
was just gonna say
Yeah.
that's one of the best solutions. If you want to
Mhm.
play on
You just wanna
actual
play.
hardware, pay for the hardware and then get a multi-cart because in the long run, you're gonna spend way less than you would ever spend trying to collect everything. I mean, if you actually want to play the games, if you don't give a crap about it and you just want to collect, then never mind.
So I can give you guys another one of my secrets of how I get a lot of these games, and a lot of people don't like this type of stuff, but I'm going to show you anyways. And I do have an affiliate code, but I'm not putting it out there right now. But Retro Game Treasure, I get a lot of my inbox complete games from this company, even Game Boy games that I've gotten from them. Even like I've gotten them complete. I've gotten them with the manual, and as expensive as they are, but like Super Nintendo games, I've gotten The Legend of Zelda for Nintendo from these guys. Dreamcast games. Again, I'm not trying to push this off. I also use Video Games Monthly, which is another send away service. But you can get a lot of games that you can't find, and you pay like $50 or $60 a month. Now, I will preface, some months you get some like shuffleware, like it's just trash. Like you're like, but you can make a list of this is what I want, this is the systems I want it for. So what I use this for is systems that are really hard to find. Like they don't do TurboGrafx or anything, otherwise I'd have that. But like Dreamcast, any of the handheld stuff, I try to get it through them because I know how expensive the handheld stuff is, and you can get it through them fairly cheap. PlayStation games, I've gotten them sealed from these guys. So and they're good games like Final Fantasy VII and so I mean.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
me right there, Steven.
What's that?
You need to build a cade.
A build a
Shieldicade.
Shilling time.
It's the Shieldicade.
There we go.
One other thing we want to mention here really quick before we got to wrap this up is the New Wave toys, right?
Oh, yes.
They have put out, it's not something I'm interested in, but we'll put it out here. The Zohar, the replica Zohar,
making it
teller
big
machine.
time.
I don't know how he did it, but he managed to get these guys to make his own arcade. It's not Mortal Kombat.
I gotta say, in Playland here in Ryan, New York, big, movie big. There was Zohar here. Now my son and I have been doing it for like past 15 years, but he's gone now. They actually took Zohar away this past year, so I am absolutely going to get one of these little bad boys for home.
He doesn't look as evil as like the original one.
No, he doesn't actually.
but it's there anyway.
Not unless the eyes light up red.
And you know what? Also, really quick, right now you can get $20 off on it. So I think it's $99. You can get it $79 with the code. I don't know if you have the code available, Steven.
I don't know. Was there a code you didn't give me?
They didn't give you the code?
No, I just found this when Bill and I were talking.
Hold on, I'll get killed here.
No, Adam and I were talking about it. Adam showed me this, and he's like, "Hey, make sure you talk about this on the show." And I'm like, "Oh, it's like 12 point something inch." I'm like, "Oh, it's probably a knockoff or something." And then we're like looking at it, and we're like, "Oh wait, this is New Wave Toys." Or I think Bill, you said it was like, "Oh, that's New Wave Toys." And I went back to Adam. I was like, "This is New Wave Toys." He's like, "Yeah."
Okay, it's normally $99. It's normally $99. You get it for $79. $20 off of the VIP. The checkout code, all capitals, Fortune 20. So
Fortune
20, as in Zohar thinking of a fortune.
Fortune 20, all capitals. If you guys want
$79, $20 off.
$20 off that Glenn was holding out on all you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat room.
I'm a cheap fuck. I know.
Fortune 20. And that gets them what? $20 off.
$20 off. $79. But still got to do shipping.
How much?
Yeah.
Oh, it's $100.
It's normally $100. This will get it for 80.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're into collecting them and you always wanted one of these,
who doesn't want one?
Use that promo code.
I said I'm a big fan of the movie Big. So I thought that was
no pun intended.
No pun intended. But I thought it was cool. I may wait to see if they do a sale later on it, but it does look pretty fun. I thought it was actually kind of funny that it actually comes with a fake power cord, like in the movie when he looks and he realizes it's not plugged in. Yeah. And apparently it's got like roll paper in it for the fortune to come out, and you can get
coins. You get the coins.
You can get more, at a later time if you use them all up.
Very clever.
Plus, Adam says plus shipping charge. Yeah, of course there's shipping charge.
Yeah.
So I gotta
There'll be
ask.
less than shipping at games. I tell you that right.
Well,
now.
I gotta ask MG. MG is my shipping advisor. I gotta ask him. Should I order direct, MG, or should I wait till it comes to Amazon? Like you got to help me out here. I need to know. Should I buy direct, or should I
pre-order direct?
Should I pre-order direct, or should I wait?
That's what you should do
for Amazon to have it, or one of the other retailers. I mean, so there is rumors. Yeah, I see Elmo watches wrestling. He just came in too. He also said, "Are you ready for WrestleFest?" If it's not the original, I don't care what they do to it. It's got to have the original wrestlers. If they don't have the original, like Earthquake and Hulk Hogan, Legion of Doom, then it's not WrestleFest. I'll have to wait and see what they pull out of their hat with it. But oh my goodness! So we'll see what MG has to say here with this, because I don't know.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
Is he? Wait, hang on. I gotta pull up the chat as soon as it comes here. Hang on, here it is. All right. Survey says MG said. Oh, I should say MG says I'd go direct. Always go direct unless you're a Muppet. Are you calling me a Muppet? So, yeah, definitely, you guys. New Wave Toys, Glenn, they ship it pretty quick too. Once
they do,
once it's over.
It won't be available till I think the fall of this year. If you pre-order it now, but they do a wonderful job shipping it. It's always well protected, multiple boxes in there, and a lot of times they include little extras in there as well. You find you open up the box. So the New Wave Toys does a really nice job. It's well worth what they charge for it. I've never been disappointed with anything that I've gotten from them. I've purchased every single thing from them. So
nice. So Kong's just joined us. Welcome, Kongs. He says it'll be WrestleFest Legends with replaced characters. Now, if it's the exact same gameplay with different characters, it could be fun, but it's not true WrestleFest. It's kind of like NFL Blitz. But for the wrestling fan, I mean, I'll have to wait and see. As long as they don't do a 4-player control panel, which they probably will, because it was 4 players originally. Well, actually, I think it was.
Will.
Yeah.
That game, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I don't know it as well as a lot of other people.
It was the best wrestling game.
Oh, I'm sure it was. My thing is, though, I mean, back then it was WWF. Now it's WWE. You have to change that. You're definitely not going to get all the wrestlers in it.
Well, no, 90% of them are dead.
Well, that has a lot to do with it.
From the original, yeah, like they're all.
So getting you got to go through.
And
again,
dead.
I don't know with that.
You gotta go with an original PCB. That's the only way.
Well, that's and either way, I'll be interested to see what Arcade 1-Up can do with it. I'm not writing it off yet, but knowing that it's going to be called something different, that'll change my expectation. My expectation, if they say it's going to be WrestleFest, I expect it to be WrestleFest. But if you're going to say it's WrestleFest Legends, okay, my expectation has changed, and of course, you always want to. But I have the AtGames 4-player control panel.
I think they're going to go, if they do it, I think they're going to go that route. They're going to have to.
That's what he was saying. So
do it I think he's right on that one.
All right, I think that's all we have. Glenn, before we wrap up though, you do have a pre-order out there for those that want the Thunder Stick, because I pre-ordered on this last week.
Yep, for the deflector flight stick
that everybody's been asking for.
1-Up Tron. Yep, it'll be available in March. We have the pre-order up now on T-Stick's website. That's really it. It's basically the same quality as our original stick, but now we have the deflector button on it, and it actually has a dimmer. For people who think the LED is a little too bright, you can dim down the LED if you like, and it will connect right into your Arcade 1-Up. Or if you already have the GRS flight stick already, you want to get one with the deflector stick for playing Discs of Tron or other games, it'll be available. Boom. Oh, and a lot of people keep asking me, if you are getting up the Arcade 1-Up Tron, you don't need the original kit. You just need the upgrade, which has a deflector stick in it. You don't need the original kit, which had the base, unless you want to replace the base with the same base that's my base, because they copied my base. So it's all about the base.
It's all about that base. There it is. I got it pulled up here. $20. You can't beat it, guys. It supports Glenn, and obviously it's going to be better than the stock one. It's not going to break. That's the main thing, is it's not going to break. So make sure you guys check that out as well.
You know what's going to happen now? You're going to see videos out there, people like driving their cars over it. It broke! It broke!
Get ready.
Anything coming this week from you, Jade? Anything that to let everybody know about?
The only thing I really want to let people know about is that today was the day Natasha was born.
All right, Natasha. What about you, Mr. Wow Bill?
Again, just a quick thank you to everybody. Just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Again, for those of you who, whether you know or not, I'm doing a giveaway for this. You could check out my Comic-Con video if you want to get in on it. Last drive for it, because sometime this week I'm going to be picking the name, deciding who gets that, and we are going to make the announcement next week on Game Time.
Very cool. Very cool. Mr. Glenn, besides playing the game and you haven't beat it yet, anything coming up?
I got over 100,000, so I'm doing pretty good.
Any new videos?
I've a couple. Right now, we're doing a lot of testing. So we just released the Deflector Stick, available in March. Testing an upgrade to my GRS Star Wars yoke. We're adding some features to make it more compatible with AtGames Legends Ultimate. People have been asking for that. I'm also testing my Akari Warriors stick. I'll probably have a video about that as well. That'd be compatible with like Frontline, Akari Warriors, TNK3. Got a lot of stuff going on right now, actually. A lot of stuff going on. And this game, which is awesome.
Awesome.
Wizard of Walls.
Guys, really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll be back next week, hopefully with RGT85. Hopefully he's well, and he'll be on the show, and we'll talk some arcades, gaming, all that good stuff. Till next time, guys.
Heart health. We'll talk about some heart health too.
Heart health. We might talk about that. Till next time, guys. Keep it buzzing. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Great show again, as always. That's why it's the most loved show. Why are you guys still here? The show's over. Go home. We'll be back next week. Like, seriously, go. If you want to hang out, fine, but I'm going to bed. Have a good night.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.